Cool. Hey guys, it's Jack from Peach here. I'm with Stuart from Yamaha today, and we're focusing on the new HX Stomp from line 6. And what we're doing, instead of a big feature-length video, we're breaking down each kind of use and feature of the product into a separate segmented video, so that you guys can just pick and choose what you want to see. So what we're doing here, and what you'll have just seen while Stuart was playing, was I'm swapping through what's called snapshots. So you might be better to explain what snapshots are and how they operate in the unit.
With snapshots, it's probably the most underused and untalked about feature of Helix, but is for me as a live player the most useful. Yeah. Snapshot, what we did there was acting much like a switcher. So as you were going through the 3 snapshots that we set up, you were bringing in pedals in certain configurations and surprising me by dropping in choruses and things. But this is always great, and this was a way of just recalling pedals that I'd set up in the signal path. And that is a simple function of how you'd use a switcher. A snapshot does something beyond that though. What we can do beyond that, rather than just turn pedals on and off in configuration, is we can use the snapshots to save and alter, almost hence the term snapshot, like a digital photograph of whatever's happening within that preset at the time.
Okay.
So think of a preset within a preset.
Yeah.
It's probably the best way I can describe it.
Okay, yeah, that's a very good explanation. So basically, what we've got here, I'll just swap the view here so you can see. We've got snapshots 1, 2, and 3. So as Stuart was playing there, you'll have heard on snapshot 1, it's just a dry amplifier with a reverb block there. Snapshot 2 brings in both a chorus and a delay. And then snapshot 3 was adding in a distortion block as well. So that's in its kind of most simplistic form, is that it's just switching in either one or several things at a time. But like you said, you can also choose to manipulate the parameters. So for example, on this third snapshot where I'm bringing in kind of the lead sound with the distortion, you might want your delay and reverb to pull back a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's something that we can do, and then you don't have to have multiple blocks. You don't have to have a really loud delay and a really quiet delay. You've just got the one block of delay, but you're changing the settings kind of per snapshot, aren't you? So,
and the reason that it's really relevant to HX Stomp is because we've got 3 foot switches.
Yeah.
Each foot switch as a snapshot is doing multiple things to that preset. So for example, we'll do that now actually. If we select the, if we go across and we select the delay, and say on this snapshot we want to wind it back a bit, in terms of mix, find the mix, there it is. If I press down the pot, hold it until it goes white, turn it down, that alone should change from snapshot to snapshot.
So when you ordinarily turn a control, if it's kind of the corresponding color to the block, like here it's green, for example, on the delay, you can change it. So that's like a global setting if you want to make it louder or quieter, for example, there. But what Stuart just did there was push down the control so it changes to white. And then that, as you can see, when you scroll through the presets, snapshots, sorry, the actual parameter is changing.
And this is not something that is specific just to HX Stomp. This is on all
the
Helix
and all
families.
That's a really useful feature, I think.
Yeah, and it's multiple as well. So if we go across to the reverb, and just for argument's sake, we'll do the same with the reverb, the mix. So I press it down until it goes white and turn it. There is a technique to doing this in one smooth movement. We'll turn that down, and then of course we go back to snapshot 2, and now the reverb and the delay is being affected by this snapshot. Anything that is a pot, anything that's a parameter that we can change, we can affect by a snapshot.
Yeah, and that comes down to that comes down to amp settings as well. You know, if you want to boost up your drive and your mid-range on the volume on the amp for a lead sound, you can do that as well, can't you?
Well, that's quite a predictable thing. So let's do something a bit more crazy. How about we change, or we go through to the cab model? Maybe my snapshots can be affected by which microphone I use.
Okay.
The distance of the mic, so we can make it closer, further away, and then snapshot to snapshot, we have the same amp, the same pedals, but we're changing microphones.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe you prefer a different mic, or you want the mic to be closer to the cab when you go for your solo boost.
Yeah.
And that's something that in the real world would be intensely hard to do.
Unless you have roadies.
Unless you have roadies, but then they're not going to do it just accurately, but by kicking a foot switch. Yeah. Unless you've got one you kick and he runs on stage and changes the mic or pushes it closer to the cab.
Yeah, not very PC, but you could do it.
No, you could do it, you could try.
Should we hear what that sounds like then? So we start here with Snapshot 2.
Yep. So...
Once again, that's quite a wet sound with a high mix of delay and reverb. Now if I swap to Snapshot 3, so it's a world away, you know, we really changed the tone of the amp because we changed the microphone and the position of the mic on the cab. We also changed the parameters of the delay and the reverb. And you can really get, you know, for me, I like to use this to, you might want different tap divisions for your delay. Absolutely. Or you might want different speed set, like for a chorus or something. We've got a chorus on there, in fact, and it's quite nice if you maybe want to go for like a slow chorus and then jump to a fast Leslie kind of simulation thing. You know, there's so many parameters you can tweak. Like you said, if it moves, you can change it. Yeah, exactly. And there's no latency, you know, because sometimes when you switch from preset to preset, you might get a little bit of lag behind. There might be those milliseconds of silence while everything reconfigures. Yeah,
and that extends to the trails from the delay and the decay of the reverb. So if we set this up so that we've got, just for example, delay on here.
Yeah.
And we'll go high so you can hear.
Okay.
Turn the trails on.
Yeah.
And then we go to this snapshot and we take that off. So that's the delay totally off.
Yeah.
It should be now if you... We'll still hear the trails. So... Yeah, okay. So not losing the trails as you change snapshot to snapshot.
Yeah, yeah. So for example, if you want to jump straight from your big lead sound with tons of delay back into a nice, quiet, clean verse or something, you can still have all that stuff trail over.
And that last big ringing, singing note doesn't just die.
Yeah.
When you go back to your rhythm channel, for example.
Yeah.
So it's beyond just setting up 3 foot switches as clean rhythm lead. This could be maybe 3 versions of the same amp that maybe just break a little more each time.
Yeah.
That have a bit more mid or a bit more channel volume. It could be as simple as you like.
Absolutely. It's a really great feature, and I think you'll see the use for that in tons of different, even if it's something as simple as, like you said, just making your amp a bit gradually dirtier. Because some people just like the sound of an amp or an amp model just turned up more or less. Yeah. You know, rather than adding a distortion pedal in or something. That's a more analog way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah. So. And I like the idea that this is, it's not really for controlling a massive signal chain of, you know, tons of pedals. We can affect snapshots with just 1 amp, 1 amp and 1 pedal, and any parameter within that can be changed to your preference.
Sure. So what we'll do, if you don't mind, I'll just switch over. I'll just play a few chords, and we'll scroll through the snapshots one by one. Yeah. So you can just hear the difference. If you don't mind, just scrolling from 1 through to 3 for me. So I'm going to start on snapshot 1, which is kind of a nice clean sound, and then we're going to gradually go through to that lead sound that you heard. So. That's useful. That's 3 completely different sounds within one preset.
Yeah. Very easy to set up, very user-friendly.
Yeah, and you can add to the amount of snapshots you have. So there's 3 by default, but if you wanted to use an external switch, you could theoretically add more, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You can add in an external kind of latching switch, or a momentary switch, would it be, I guess?
Yeah.
So there's a jack on the back of the HX that can serve multiple functions, but
it gives you 2 more foot switches.
To this end, yeah. So you can have 5 snapshots instead of just 3 on this unit, and then on the bigger Helix you can have up to 8. Yeah. So hope that helps, guys. That was just a nice little overview of snapshots. I think you'll agree that it's a very powerful tool. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to see some more features on this unit, we're going to keep uploading more videos. So check our channel. You can subscribe if you want to see more content, and we're just going to keep running through all the features of this amazing product. So we hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.
Take care.